So the first thing that we are going to be discussing in this video is, why would an employer hire someone from another country? Because there is a lot of expenses that comes with taking someone from a foreign country and bringing them into a country to give them a job. You have to think about their social insurance, their health insurance. Do they have a family? There are so many things that has to go into hiring someone internationally. So the first question is, why would an employer hire someone from another country? That is a big question that if you're someone thinking about applying, you have to answer that question. And then we are going to look at which employers can actually hire foreign talent. I did actually a survey on LinkedIn and on Twitter where I was asking you all to tell me about what are the issues that you have in terms of migrating abroad for work. And so many of you told me that, how do you get to employers that are not scam employers, right? So we're going to cover which employers can actually hire foreign talent, because most times the reason why you're going to fall into the hands of a scam person is because probably that person is not even qualified to hire foreign talent, so they would get you roped into some kind of deals that is not good at all. Okay, and then the last thing that we're going to talk about is, are you ready to be hired internationally? So many people think about, oh, I want to go abroad, I want to work abroad, but when we break it down, are you really ready in order to be hired abroad? Okay, so we are going to start with the first one, where we are talking about, why would an employer actually hire someone from a foreign country? As I was saying already, there are already so many things that are involved in this. So why? So the first reason is, there is no qualified local talent. That is why they talk about skill sets and what are your skills, what are the things that you can do, and what are the shortages based off of the various skills. Because probably, yes, there's a huge population in that country, but maybe they do not have the specific skills that the population or the employers are looking for. So in that case, they are going to hire a foreign talent. The second one is, they need specialized expertise. Sometimes some countries are really good at training their students to be good in specific fields, like when you hear about India and math and how good Indians are in math, right? Not, of course, not everybody, it is not a generalized thing, but the idea is that because that is the strength, that is a strength that other countries may need, that their local population do not have. So they are going to go abroad in order to hire. And then the third reason is that companies want to compete internationally. So they are looking for competitive talent from all of the places. We always hear so many times they talk about America, where they say it is like this place where it's a culmination of the best from around the world. Why? It's because they are picking the best people, and when you put all of those best people in one category, the chance that those people are going to sort of change the face of that country is very, very high. So that is why you will see employers and countries actually compete for international talent. So it is very important that we first of all understand why this is happening. So let us look at specific countries. The first article that we see here is, facing labor shortage, Japan plans to invest $34 million to attract foreign workers in construction, healthcare, industry, and commerce. So what that already gives you a broad idea on which employers can actually hire from different countries. Japan has a need, and because Japan has a need, if you fall into any of these categories, construction, healthcare, industry, commerce, you have a good idea that Japan is definitely a place that you should be looking at. Next, you have crisis in Japan, as country relies on foreign workers to secure transportation capacity. So if you are someone that is in the transportation field, you can already start earmarking Japan as, okay, there is a shortage in my field in Japan, so I can start looking at, we are going to talk about which employers can actually hire later on, but just generally as which countries are actually in need, you know that Japan is in need. And then let's look at the next country that we can see that is in need here, and we have Australia, solving the skills shortage. Australia is lagging 30% short on the National Housing Agreement target of 1.2 million homes by 2029. That tells you that there is a need in Australia. And when you look at the challenge here, it says across nearly all sectors of the economy, Australia is experiencing a skills shortage. The housing construction industry is no exception. The industry is calling out skilled workers to help meet the demands. And they have this document here, which is the 2025 Skills in Demand Report that is prepared by Australia. I have the document here because I downloaded it, but I'm not going to read all of the sectors that are in need. You can do that research by yourself. But what you can see here is you have this chefs, they need chefs, medical officers, motor mechanics, they have software engineers, restaurant managers, cooks, business analysts, registered nurses, mechanical engineers, marketing specialists, motor mechanics, personal care assistants, accountants, welders. So that tells you this is actually called the top occupations for primary subclass 457 and 482 visa grants. So that tells you already an idea of this particular need that is in Australia, because step one is really figuring out, is there a need, and if there is a need, in what sectors are there these needs. Okay, now let us go to the next one. We are looking at South Korea, and here this is the document about South Korea. Companies break hiring borders to recruit foreign talent. And when you read here, you see, according to industry sources, Tuesday, companies' foreign hiring is expanding beyond simple production roles to professional positions such as developers and artificial intelligence specialists. So if there are any developers out there, if there are any AI specialists out there, you can already get the signal that South Korea is one of the countries that is in need of your talent. So if you are someone thinking about moving abroad, you should definitely be earmarking South Korea. And then now let us go to the next one. We are looking at Canada. And the reason why this is so interesting, the title of this article is Canada's Rural Immigration Pilot, the Best Hidden Pathway to PR in 2026. And it goes on and explains things that happen. But something that I want you all to really pay attention to is this part where they talk about which communities are participating and what jobs are in demand. When you look at the first paragraph, they have this place called Sault Ste. Ontario, and what are the skills that they are needing help in? They need help in healthcare, transportation, hospitality. Are you in any of those fields? That should start swelling in your head about Canada and Ontario, right? And then here you have British Columbia. What do they need help with? They need help with childhood educators, auto mechanics, construction trades, and social workers. That should start ringing in your head about what the need is, right? And then you come here in Brandon, Manitoba. What do they need help with? They need help with skilled manufacturing and health services. That also gets to start ringing in your head. If you have those skills, you already should know which country to be targeting, okay? And then here you have in Pictou County in Nova Scotia, they need help to address the aging workforce. So they need manufacturing roles. So here we can see the need. There is a need in Japan of specific talents. Is your talent needed in Japan? Australia, is your talent needed in Australia? South Korea, is your talent needed in South Korea? Canada, is your talent needed in Canada? Those are the first things that we have to establish. Where is the need for your skills? So the second thing that we are going to be looking at is which employers can actually hire foreign talent. The reason why there is a lot of scamming, there is a lot of people losing their money, there is a lot of people getting frustrated when they go abroad, because they go abroad and they find that, oh my goodness, there is no job as it was promised, or people get trafficked and get into prostitution, is because there is the uncertainty about which employers are actually or are licensed enough to recruit foreign talent, right? So let us start here. The first one is government approved employers. You have to make sure that you are working with people that are government approved employers. I am going to show you examples of this later on, so just hold on. We are going to look at examples from Australia such that you can have a good idea that you are working with the right people. And then the second people that you have to look at is provincial or regional programs. Most times when it comes to hiring foreign talent, government sanction or provinces sanction the people that can actually recruit foreign talent through some sort of discussions and agreements based on labor shortages and the things that the people need. So you have to look at this provincial people. And here we are going to look at Canada such that we can understand who are the people that can actually hire foreign talent in Canada, okay? And then the last thing that we are going to look at is bilateral labor arrangements. So many times there are agreements between countries of we are going to work together, you will send us some workers, we are going to send you back some workers, and those are the kinds of programs that are licensed that you can use them in order to move abroad, and you're not worried because you know that it is official. We are going to talk about the Canada-Kenya program, which is like a bilateral kind of a program. We are also going to talk about the Canada-Ireland program, which is like a bilateral program. And we are also going to talk about the Ghana-Jamaica program, which is also a bilateral program. And what I want you to take from this is, take from this and now do a lot of research about, okay, now I have an idea on who are those that are allowed to employ foreign talent, and then you start doing your research from there. So let us start with Australia. So here you have their skills in demand program that we spoke about, and we looked at the various jobs that need people. And you have here basic eligibility. You must be nominated by a skilled position by an approved sponsor, have the right skills to do the job, and then meet the relevant English category. So your question now is, who are the approved sponsors under various programs that are offered in Australia? That now becomes an idea of research that you have to do. Go ahead and search for Australia skills in demand, approved employers. From there you can start having an idea of who is legit and who is not legit, and those people that are not legit, run away from them as much as possible, because they are going to take your money, or if you actually move to that country, you are going to find yourself being trafficked from one area to the other, and you have this kind of nightmare experience living abroad, which should not be the case. Okay, now let us go to this provincial or regional programs, and we are looking at Canada. So this is an article here about, is Canada's rural immigration pilot the best hidden pathways to PR in 2026? And when you come down here and you look at which communities are participating and what jobs are most in demand, here you have this community here, Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario. That tells you that this particular province, this little city, Sault Ste. Marie in Ontario, they have a program that gives you a lens to go and research, especially because you know that there is a need. You know the jobs that they are even hiring for, because I told you all about it earlier. But at least it gives you something to do your research on. Going back, same provincial program you have in British Columbia, you have in the North Okanagan Shuap region. That is the particular region that is hiring under this provincial regional program in British Columbia. You have some kind of an inroad in order to do your research. The next one you have here, Brandon, Manitoba, right? You can now do your research on Brandon, Manitoba. What are the programs that are available there? And then you have Pictou County, Nova Scotia. You can now do your research based off of that. So those are the people that are legally allowed. They can apply, they can hire foreign talent because of this provincial or regional program. Okay, now let us go to bilateral labor agreements between different countries. Okay, let us start with this one here. So you have Kenya and Canada deepen talks on new labor pathways for skilled workers. So if you are someone watching this from Kenya, you know that your government is in the process of negotiating a particular kind of a migratory paths that you can use to go work in Canada. What that tells you is you can now follow up this program, find out what is the hiring process, what are the things that are required, and then you can now go through with that. Okay, now let us look at the next one, which is the Canada Ireland program. So this is like a partnership. You say, what does the new Canada Ireland partnership mean for skilled workers and immigrants in 2026? If you are from Canada, you want to go work in Ireland. If you're from Ireland, you want to go work in Canada. You know that there is a legal means, official, that you can go with official employers, and nothing is going to be a scam. You are going to be going through the right path. And then let us look at this last one here, which is Jamaica, Ghana signed health agreement to expand medical workforce cooperation. Now, this kind of a cooperation between two countries, those health workers in Ghana can go work in Jamaica, health workers in Jamaica can go work in Ghana. That is a legal way. This is a way that you know that you are not dealing with any fraudsters in one way or the other. So to recap, which employers can actually hire foreign talent? You have to have the government approved workers, you need the provincial regional program people, and then you need bilateral labor agreements. These are the official people that you should follow to move abroad, because you're going to a foreign country. It is not your home. You don't have family there. You don't know nobody. Anything can happen if you do not follow official means in order to get there. Please do not go with shady people, and you're going to end up in not a very good situation. All right, so now let us go to the most interesting part, which is, are you ready to be hired internationally? There is so much talk about you want to go work abroad, you want to be hired internationally, you want to go to this country, to that country, but when we really comes down to it, are you ready? Do you have the skill sets? Do you have the tools in order to go and be hired internationally? Why should they skip all the local people, skip all of the possibilities, and then bring you from a foreign country with all of the logistical issues that has to surround that kind of a process? Are you ready to be hired internationally? And here we are going to be looking at a couple of key points that you should be able to ask yourself to know if, based off of the countries that you are choosing, are you really hired? Are you really ready to be hired internationally? The first thing that we are going to look at is language proficiency. If you're going to study, I've done so many videos about studying abroad that sometimes I still forget that I'm not doing videos about studying abroad. Anyhow, if you're going to work abroad, the question is, you're probably going to be working in a country where the language is different from the language of your mother tongue, right? Do you have the language proficiency to be able to go and do that work in that country? If it is Japan, we are talking about Japanese. If it is in Sweden, we are talking about, what was the language? Swede, I think that's a language. If it is in Norway or wherever, those are the questions that we are answering. Do you have the language proficiency for it? The next thing that we are looking at is professional licenses. When you remember all of these jobs that we have looked at healthcare, AI, engineers, we have looked at commerce, industry. We have looked at all of those professions. The question is, do you have the professional licenses for this particular jobs? Because they're not just going to hire you because you say that you want to work in these places. Do you have the licenses for it? Those are the questions that they are going to be asking. And also, do you have the international workforce readiness? There are so many things that come with moving to a foreign country for work. Are you ready to be able to take that step? You may think that, okay, maybe things are not working well in your country right now, or you want to just move, but are you ready to be able to make that move? Those are questions that you have to ask yourself. We are going to look at Japan, what is happening, and just to give you an idea on what are the things that you should be thinking about if you're considering Japan. And also we're going to look at Australia to give you an idea of what you should be looking at here. So here we have this particular article here about Japanese proficiency essential for foreign graduates staying on to work. And this is not just, it is not just about foreign graduates staying on to work. It is actually also about like when we look at that article that was talking, I'm going to put up the article here, that was talking about the people that were employed in the transportation industry. You literally see a picture of this Vietnamese person being taught how to drive by this Japanese person. They are obviously not speaking in Vietnamese. They are obviously not speaking in English. They are definitely speaking in Japanese. So the question is, are you ready? Do you have the language proficiency where if they have to train you on the job for that job that you are in that country, can you just hit the ground running once you arrive in that foreign country? Do you have what it takes? Do you have the language proficiency? Do you have the licenses? Because also driving a truck is very different from driving a little car or driving any other kind of a car. So there are specific licenses. So do you have the language proficiency? And also, do you have the professional license for the particular job that you say that you want to do? So to wrap it up, I am going to give you a formula that you should think about when you are thinking about wanting to be hired in a foreign country. And in this formula, you have to think of what adds with what leads to what. So the first thing that you need is to figure out which countries need you. We started this video by talking about the countries and what they need. And these countries do not need everybody. They do not need all the skill sets. They need specific skill sets. So you are asking which countries need your skills. That is the first question. The next thing in the formula is which employers are qualified to hire you. So you have this plus this. Which are the employers? It is important to sort out these employers such that you do not fall into the hands of scammers and then you lose your money and, God forbid, lose your life in the process, okay? And then the third thing you have to ask is, are you ready to be hired internationally? So the formula is which countries need you plus which employers are qualified to hire you plus are you ready to be hired internationally? And that is going to give you the answer of where to search and how to go. I hope that this was helpful. Y'all let me know in the comment section, what are your skill sets and which countries are you looking to migrate to? I'm going to see you all in the next one. Peace.